I'm looking for. It's my boy.
Guy can't retire.
That's my boy, dude. Hawkeye. So, all right, let's bring Akil up, and then we'll just keep it rolling. We'll keep it rolling. So, Akil, thanks for waiting.
Yo, long time listener.
Mauricio. There he is.
Listen, I don't know if I missed it or not. Probably did. Did you guys comment on how our Marvel has hit the nail on the head with the social commentary of One Falcon and Winter Soldier this year? Because I think even with WandaVision a little bit too, but I think their social commentary, especially through Falcon, I still think about Sam's last speech, when he told them to not call him terrorists, and he went into the whole soliloquy. I kind of choked up. I teared a little bit. Yeah, I really think Marvel hit the nail on.
Well, I mean, we did discuss that a little bit, and I don't think there's any problem getting back into it just a little bit. I mean, I thought it was a big part of it, and I liked the fact that they did that. And again, they could have very easily. Everyone likes Sam. Everyone. He's one of the most likable characters in the MCU. Everyone just likes him. He's just a good character. And so they could have very easily, like, Steve gives him the shield at the end of Endgame, and they could have been like, yep, he's the new Captain America, and just been like, yep, here we go. But they didn't do that, right? And they decided to have these tough conversations. They decided to, make it difficult for people to watch it. Listen, the fact is, right? The fact is that they probably caught a lot of heat from this, right? There's probably a ton of people like, oh, I don't want politics in my superhero shows.
A bunch of people from Alabama probably hated it.
Well, and so it's like,
Shout out to Thunder.
Bro, but it's like interesting where you see like, I'm watching Invincible right now too, and I happen to like click on the comments for or like the ratings or whatever, and people that give it 1 stars. They're saying the same thing. How come we're having social comedy? Like, we don't have to get politics into a superhero show. I'm like, dude, just stop it. Like, these superhero shows are about politics. Like, that's what it is. And so, like, for them to tackle something that it's a real world issue right now that people are dealing with, that and they're giving a voice to that. And whether that voice is real or fictional, it doesn't matter, right? And if
I don't especially if you're following the Captain America thing and like you've seen them like Hydra and all that stuff. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand how you watch all that and be like, I don't want politics. Like,
dude,
the premise of Captain America.
Didn't they have like Captain America? First of all, he's called Captain America.
Captain America.
America, by the way, not Captain something Star Spangled Banner, right? Like, they had that dude fighting Nazis in comics, right? Like,
it's literally politics.
Like politics has been intertwined in this shit forever. So it's a wild thing.
Listen, Akil, let me rephrase. Instead of saying bringing politics into it, why don't we say like caring about other people other than white people? How about, does that sound better?
I'm with you. I just think
we're agreeing.
No. I know you are, but I'm saying like maybe we can, because really, like, when anyone says something like that, it's like, well, yeah, okay, fine. Like you said, politics has been in it forever. Like, but now we're talking about things that you don't want to talk about, because we're not talking about Nazis. We're not talking about, America being the greatest country. Now we're talking about America has some problems, just like the rest of the world has some problems.
It's just,
you definitely have those white guys who are like, first Black Lives Matter, now they're bringing it into my Marvel stuff. You definitely have ignorant.
It's also just wild how we're talking about caring about human individuals as politics, like crazy. Just like treating people with kindness and dignity, like, yeah, that's politics.
It's also crazy that like we're talking about treating people with human dignity while also complaining about the fact that it's being shown in a superhero movie where you're saving lives and you're supposed to be your best version. It makes no sense. Like, also, I would like anybody to go out there and try to figure out if there's been any movie where government hasn't been involved. Like, any movie, any superhero movie whatsoever, where government was not involved in some sort of way, where like an FBI agent wasn't included, a CIA agent, something along the lines of that. I would be hard pressed to find one. So it's really just picking and choosing your battles at this point if you're complaining about it,
100%. Couldn't agree more. So it's it is one of those things. But again, they still didn't have to do it, right? They still could have said, you know what, like it's a tough conversation to have because whatever, people are going to get upset about it, and instead we're just going to do this. And yeah, okay, like, you know, it may not be the best received because we kind of gloss over some things, but like, you know, everyone likes Sam, so like, sure, like, hey, we have a black Captain America, hey, this is awesome, you know, like, but no, they said no, we have to discuss these things, and I think that was important, and they didn't have to do that, and they made a real point to do that, and I think what I really liked
the natural
about
progression of the storyline too.
Yes,
it was crazy.
But what I liked about it is that Bucky made a point to be like, we don't get it, and like we shouldn't, like, we can't understand, right? But we shouldn't have assumed that you would just be okay with it, right? And like, I think that was cool too. And again, then Sam has that talk at the end where he's like, we finally have something in common. Like, we finally get it. Like, you finally understand how we've been feeling this whole time. And like, now you can't just dismiss everyone because you're not comfortable anymore. Like, no, like, this is where people have been their entire lives. Now you have to deal with this too. You know?
And I think what was so powerful about that too, while it had multiple facets. You know, it had facets where it was about, you know, race and relations and stuff like that, but also about just, you know, how the government treats people who are in the low class in general, poor people who aren't making in that upper echelon, and people who are struggling and working the 9 to 5 for $10 an hour and aren't making it. Now you feel how, you know, those people feel with those difficult times and uncertainties and decisions. I thought that the way he delivered it really hit home for, you know, multiple people and different people.
I agree. All right, Emily's waiting too. I'm going to pull her up, and then if anyone else wants to talk to Emily, what's up?
Hi. The other issue.
Kill.
Oh gosh, the other issue that this show helped project, and it wasn't through, in a way, it was through Sam, but not specifically through Sam. Was I was in a conversation earlier this evening with a bunch of people actually talking about the finale and talking about the show in general, and you know, the complexity of John Walker is telling this. There's so many veterans out there who are saying they see themselves in him, and not in a dangerous way, but in the fact that a lot of people haven't understood how to process what they've experienced serving this country or whatever country they're from. And they watch someone really visibly, externally, emotionally going through that and realize that there's a way to I mean, can't say if he necessarily processed it healthfully, but that it's okay to show emotion about what you've gone through in the line of war, in the line of battle, and the larger context of, you know, kind of through him of this storyline. I mean, I really see him as a symbol of like America in general, and not in the way that Captain America is, ironically, but the difference, the way that America viewed itself in the world is the way that he saw himself as Captain America, of you know, barging in, doing what's right for others and all of these things, and maybe not doing it in the best of ways or fully understanding the issue before bashing down a door. But he also was a representation of how America needed to see itself. We see that through the relationship between Sam and Isaiah, but we also see that when it comes to our returning service members, through John Walker. And it was done a lot more subtly, I feel like. That, you know, it wasn't the primary storyline, so it was obviously like in the dialogue it was very clear, but it wasn't the main storyline. But I thought it was something really important and very different especially because Marvel, they work with the government to be able to get sign off or consultancy on things that have to do with the military. So for them to take such a hard stance critiquing the US military when they have contracts with them is a big deal. It's easy to it's not obviously easy. It's a BFD that they talked about race in America and the way that they did. It's one thing to talk about like something that you're not obviously already like steeped in a way. And Marvel is very much steeped in the military, and they were very critical of it in this show.
It's a great point, Emily. That's something I hadn't really thought about. And it is kind of a trope in shows and movies where it's like you have the soldier comes home and he or she has PTSD and they're dealing with these other issues and stuff. But like, this is what happens in real life. Like, people deal with these things. And I thought the way that he dealt with the trauma that he had was something that we don't typically see, because he did want to do the right thing. He was trying to be good, but then was also going about it in all the wrong ways. And it was funny because Lamar said it to him right away, like episode 2, when he's like, you can't just punch your way out of everything now. You're Captain America,
by just
right? And like
trying to do more good. You have to take care of yourself, and he wasn't taking care of himself.
But they did kind of go at it. And I think, look, as much as the military, you could say they were going at it, military realizes that that's a real issue. Like, this is a real thing that they're trying to deal with as well. Myself and him, and kind of see some of those same kind of feelings. And, maybe I need to get help too. He clearly needs to get help, right? And so, yeah, I mean, even if it just helps a few people, like, I think it's very well worth it. And again, it's issues that we don't talk about, because like you said,